"Hey dude, your front tire is backwards." Almost every rider heard something like that at least once. But really, on almost any modern bike, the front tire tread seems to face the wrong direction, unlike the rear tire. That's pretty strange. Why is it so? Let's solve this mystery in today's video. Now, why do we have these tire grooves in the first place? It's an interesting question, because the best tires used for motorcycle racing are smooth and bold, just like an egg, zero tread whatsoever. And they provide insane amount of grip. But unfortunately, this changes as soon as the pavement becomes wet. Water starts pulling between the tire surface and the road, creating a wedge. As a result, the rubber begins to glide on this water film instead of firmly gripping the road, which leads to a complete loss of traction. This is called aquaplaning. To counter this phenomenon, the water must be channeled away from the contact patch. And that is precisely what the tire tread does. It evacuates water from under the rubber. If we take a look at the road racing rain tires, we'll see something like this, or this, or this. They don't look like normal street tires at all. Rain tires have a lot of those water channels, which are called siping cuts or sipes. Many of these sipes are not even aimed in a specific direction, they just run straight from the center to the sides of the tire. Normal road tires don't look like that. They have different tread pattern. They look like this, or this, or this. Why? What's going on here? That's because, first and foremost, normal tires are designed to perform well in all conditions, not just on dry or wet surfaces exclusively. They are a compromise, combining features of both dry and wet tires, depending on their intended use. Second, road-legal tires, unlike their racing counterparts, are engineered to consider not only maximum grip, but also other important factors, such as noise production, rolling resistance, and wear pattern. These additional considerations are essential for tires used on public roads. A road tire must perform well not only when it is new, but throughout its entire lifespan. Nobody wants a tire that works great for just 1000 miles and then becomes deformed, scalloped, and essentially useless, even though it still has a decent amount of tread left. And that's precisely why the front and rear tires have opposite tread direction. Don't worry, in a minute the connection between these factors will become clear. First, let's watch Michelin's video on how tire rubber wears. Here we have a model of a rubber block being subjected to braking forces. Take note of how its surface wears. By the way, under acceleration it will wear the same, with the only difference being the wear will occur from the other side. We can observe a similar wear pattern on off-road oriented tires with big blocks of rubber. Eventually they become more and more rounded. As you can see, the main wear happens on the side that faces the force vector between the tire and the pavement. Logically, if we want to reduce tread wear, we must position it in a way that it's parallel to the traction forces. And that is precisely what we can see on most road tires. If we take a closer look at the tread pattern closer to the center of the tire, it is almost always rather parallel to the center line of the tire, both on the front and the rear tire. As the tread grooves move towards the edges of a tire, they become more and more perpendicular to the center line. And there is a simple explanation for that too. As the bikes lean further and further to the edge of the tire, it experiences more and more lateral force. As we can see here, for example, at full lean, the forces in the contact patch are almost perpendicular to the center line of the tire, which is why the tread grooves are also perpendicular. This pattern again applies to both the front and rear tires. So, we have established the direction of friction forces in the center and the very edges of a tire. But what about all the regions in between? Here we have a mix of lateral and longitudinal forces. Now we are very close to our answer on why the front and rear tires are facing opposite directions. On the rear tire, we have cornering forces as lateral forces and acceleration as a longitudinal force. So typically, the rear tire contact patch experiences some kind of mix of those forces. For example, when we accelerate out of a corner. On the other hand, the front tire experiences cornering forces as lateral and braking as a longitudinal force, along with their mix in between, for example, when we use trail braking into the corner. In those in-between regions of the tire, tread grooves are made to be parallel to those typical friction forces, for the purpose of even wear. And since the rear tire typically accelerates the bike and the front one stops it, it becomes obvious why their respective tread patterns face opposite directions. The exact angle and configuration of tire grooves are based on the intended use of a tire and determined through testing. For example, here we have a nice picture from the Bridgestone website, where they show us how they figured out the tread pattern for one of their tires by analyzing the wear pattern and force direction on the tire. This helps them design a tread pattern that lasts longer. As I mentioned earlier, the specific tread pattern is influenced by several factors, including noise level reducing, rolling resistance, the balance between dry and wet conditions, the tire compound and typical pressure settings. That's why we have such a huge selection of different tires to cater to various needs. However, the core reason why the front tire faces the opposite direction is that it experiences different forces compared to the rear tire. Its tread is designed in a way that ensures even wearing throughout the life of the tire, considering the forces it encounters during braking and cornering. So, next time someone tells you that you have your front tire backwards, you can confidently explain why they are mistaken. I can almost guarantee that after that, they will never bother you with such question again. Thanks to this video, you now have the knowledge to set the record straight. So make sure to subscribe and set to always receive notifications. There will be more useful videos like this one. Also, don't forget to check out my video courses for motorcycle riders if you want to become a safer and more confident rider. Well, that's all I've got for today. Ride safe and have a fantastic day. Bye!